Good afternoon. My name is Mart Hoffman, and I am the president of the board of Capital City Village. It's so good to see everybody here, and thank you for your presence and your participation. Now, I don't put a tie on for anybody, but this is a really special group, so thank you. All right. It's my pleasure to welcome those of you here in person and those watching via stream. We have an exciting program for today. It's pretty diverse, and I think you'll enjoy it a great deal. And we want to welcome back our MC, Jim Spencer. Jim, where are you sitting? Raise your hand. Jim Spencer. And Tawana Kinney, who is our auctioneer. She's even brought assistant auctioneers with her, so be prepared. I'd like to recognize and thank our event sponsors, and we had a wonderful turnout this year, both corporate and individual. Those names can be seen now on the screen. I would also like to welcome our special guest today, Libby Doggett, and if you would stand briefly as I call your name, Libby Doggett. Judge Maya Gamble, Judge Sylvia Holmes, Rachel Wimberly with Inspired Aging at Shalom, Austin, Dr. Sandra Frelson, MD, Head of Hospice Austin Medical Services, and our Volunteer of the Year this year, Carol Yantz. And we were founded 12 years ago in Sue and my backyard. And so I wanted to recognize the founders that are here today, David and Barbara Gamble, Rick Cloud, and Sue and Mart Hoffman in their backyard. Okay. And also the CCV board, Lori Brown, who's not here, Gail Height, who I believe is here, Barbara Epstein, who is on Zoom, Tom McCourse. Tom, you have to stand up. You okay? Sue Hoffman, Scott Bleck, who is not here, and Lori Forgay, who is also out of town. These are all the people that have helped our Capital City grow and go forward over these, 12 years. Today's gathering is more than a fundraiser. The steering committee works on this all year long. They meet at least once a month during the year, and the last 3 months before this become pretty intensive in the planning. So they've done a great job. And it's a chance for you to be generous to others today and generous to yourselves. Our drawings are pretty amazing. Sue and I got to go to, all I can say, not Fonda San Miguel. We go there too, San Miguel Day, Indy, last summer. So that is a wonderful experience, and there's a lot of other things you can put in the drawing. We have some great, this is I'm repeating, we have great raffle items donated by some very generous individuals and businesses. The raffle closes at 12:30 today, so if you need to get up, you will not bother me. And, oh no, Sue isn't back, I'm getting coached here. The raffle is cut off because we have had, there's a few left, says Sue, but you've had wonderful participation. Thank you very much. As I mentioned, Capital City Village was founded 12 years ago. It's always has been and still is a virtual village for friendship, learning, and support. And for me, the last 12 years have been a lot of fun work, pretty intense work, but I've made so many new friends and associates, it's been delightful. And all of you are new friends. I think I know about 62% of the people here, and then the other people I've said hi to or tried to say hi to. Here's a snapshot of our activities for the year. Our volunteers helped older adults live well in their homes in over 270 separate service contacts. And it's amazing the people that join Capital City Village, they want to stay in their homes, they want to be vibrant, and everybody we've met has a wonderful story. And so we just kind of grow through synergy through these contacts. The also work of Capital City Village represents about 2,263 service hours. It's amazing work that we're proud of. We also produced 134 programs and events with over 950 attendees, and we hope to do more next year. We also hosted the 8th annual Capital City Tarrytown United Methodist Church Golf Tournament. That's something I'm fairly involved in. Clark Ross is here. He placed second place with his team, Clark. And then my team, due to a wonderful chip-in by Blair ranking on number 18, we placed third, which we were very proud of and mainly shocked. So we had a lot of support for that. A little bit more serious note, keeping members socially involved, which is just critical to successful aging, is one of the key ways to combat the isolation that may come with aging. If you're involved and you're doing a lot of things, it's not an issue. But once you get isolated, it's very, very difficult. To make it easier for our members to keep track of all our events, programs, and get-togethers, we started mailing out a monthly calendar. We have the calendar on our refrigerator so we can keep up with what's going on and attend what we'd like to. By the way, there's no pressure to attend these things. If you want to attend, fine. If you don't, not. We really tried to make it a quality event, whatever we do, so people will attend. And please put your name and email on the sign-up sheet on your table if you would like a program sheet or more information about Capital City Village. I think there's a blue sheet there, and we've even provided a pen, so we're trying to be full service. We want to make sure many people as possible have access to our programs by allowing you to join our programs on Zoom, posting them on your YouTube or website. You can also follow Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to get an inside look at CCV and all the things we're doing throughout the year. We've held several educational programs this year through our Capital City Connect. And there's really three parts of the village. There's transportation, volunteer services, there's the social activities, and then the educational services. And those, if we do them right, make a big difference with our members. One of our special programs this year was Dr. Barbara Bergen, the co-founder of Texas Orthopedics. She is now retired, but she is very, very humorous. And she said, you know, I only have 175 points. I hope we get through it tonight. So she got through about 82. But one of the things she did as a physician, she said, now, I've really had this broken twice. And so we went through her whole body of breaks and everything, and she really educated us. And she mainly said, get up and move. Okay. So she's coming back, and she'll be on our newsletter when she's going to appear. For a more somber note, we're saddened by the loss of some very special people. During this past year, the following CC members have passed away. Lee Weber, Barbara Winchell, Carol Mann, Dan Ainsworth, Louis Landa, Julie Totten, and Maxine Bucket. Please remember them for being vital members of our CCV family. We know that older adults need social support and intellectual stimulation. Also, we want to live safely in our preferred residences. To this end, CCV is an important part of our lives. We are proud to be one of over 300 similar virtual villages across the country. We have the distinction of, we found out about this through a New York Times article on the Beacon Hill Village probably 13 years ago. We're the second village to ever be written up by the New York Times, and it was a full page, and Rick Cloud and Doug Aycock and I were in the picture. We were much younger then, but we're very proud of that. There's Doug. Yes, Doug, you look so good. Okay. An important thing about our village is our membership is open to Austin's older adults, and we have a sliding scale. That's what this fundraiser is about today. About 40% of our members need some kind of financial support. Due to finances, we do not turn anyone away. And you enable that for us today. So thank you very much. So let us begin. I'm honored to I'm the warm-up to Jim. So let us begin. I'm honored to introduce you to our esteemed MC, Jim Spencer. Not yet, Jim. I have to say more about you. Okay, there you go. Okay. Jim has emceed all of our prior Keep Aging Weird luncheons. Thank you, Jim. For your support through the years, Jim is such an excellent MC that 4 years ago, CCV made him an honorary CCV member. I'm sure you have that framed on your wall, right? Yes. Oh, yeah, he's got his badge on. Okay, great. You already know Jim. He's a semi-retired as the senior weathercaster of KXAN. It's not raining till after this lunch, right, Jim? Thank you so much. Okay. Austin's NBC affiliate, KXAN. Jim has raised the standard of excellence in weathercasting, having received 3 Emmy Awards and being honored multiple times as the best weathercaster in Texas. Jim also is active in supporting many community and charitable groups. Please join me in welcoming Jim Spencer.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that very much. I like that picture. It never changes from year to year, so keep it up. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me about the weather already this morning, and I'll give you my standard answer these days, and that is talk to David Yeomans. I'm not as in tune with it on a daily basis as I used to be. The semi-retirement changed quite a few things, including my facial hair. I love not shaving every day anymore. So that's been one good thing. But it is semi, so keep an eye out on KXAN for me. I do show up occasionally when they need me or the weather gets really, really crazy or 2 or 3 people call in sick. So you'll still see me every now and then, which is, for me, just the best of both worlds. I mean, forecasting the weather on television was my childhood dream since 4th grade. I said, I'm going to be a weatherman when I grow up, and I never thought about anything else, and was able to have a 38 career year. Well, technically I'm still employed with KXAN, so I'm now 32 years there, and I just celebrated my 40th anniversary in television on October 1st. Thank you. It's great to be back with Capital City Village for the 9th annual now Keeping Aging Weird fundraiser. Austin Stays Weird. We thank all the event sponsors that we showed here a moment ago for you for their belief in this mission of Capital City Village and for their support. And that's why when Tom calls me every year and says, can you come back with us next year? I say absolutely, because I believe in this mission as well. I remember when Kay McCourse, who I knew through another local nonprofit, called me 13 years ago and said, we're starting this new thing and we'd like to kind of publicize it on television. Can you get us an interview? And she came in and explained it and to our television audience what it was, what was kicking off, and along with the support of many other people that she was working with. And I mean, look at what's happened over 12 years. It's astounding, the lives that have been impacted. You saw the list up there, the statistics of the things that will go on monthly, go on weekly, in order to keep people in their homes and intellectually stimulated with social support, allowing them to live safely where they prefer to live. And I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful organization. I always think back to my mom. My mom made sure she was going to stay home and support it because she had 5 of us. And so we made sure that that happened until I lost my mom a couple of years ago. But not everyone has that opportunity. And so to have an organization organization like CCV here in Austin, Texas, and in our local area is just really a blessing and isn't possible without the support of you all being here today. So thank you all for supporting this wonderful organization again this year and continue to do so. Now, the next thing on my script here says, please continue to buy those excellent raffle items, but we are sold out of tickets back there. Is that right? Okay, I would say buy more raffle tickets, but you did a good job. We're sold out. Maybe next year we consider a silent auction. That way the bids just keep going higher and higher. We're going to be treated right now to a very special performance. Music by Danny Britt. Danny is a performing songwriter based here in Austin. Tours around the country as well as internationally. Performs as a solo artist as well as with the band Grouchy Like Riley. Please welcome Danny Britt.
Well, it's always good to be here. I've done this once a long time ago at a much smaller meeting room. So it's good to see that it's much larger now. You know, most of my life is spent playing in dance halls and bars and assorted concert halls and things like that. But about, 10 or 15 years ago, I had an old musician friend, and her mother was at Westminster. And she said, oh, we're going to go play for Mom. And so she and I went up there, and we played, and we played, and we played until she was no longer there. And I thought that was it. And then the nice folks at Westminster convinced me to keep playing for them. So it's been probably 15 years, I would guess, something like that. And I enjoy it. I play for the memory unit a couple times a month, and they have a great time. A lot of times they don't know their name, but I'll say, sing your part when we get there. Oh, they do. They know every word. So I had to learn a bunch of old songs when I started doing this. Songs that I knew they'd recognize. So my job is to spend an hour with them and try to get them to forget about all the stuff. Just have a good time. I make them sing. Here's one they like. Grab your coat and get your hat. And leave your worries by the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. And you hear the bitter pat, and that happy tune is your step. Life can be complete on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid. This rover is crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I said gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. And they sing along to every word. And over the years, I've found some songs that they like. You know, I play at Carinthia once or twice a month, and Westminster a couple times a month. So over the last few years, I've found a lot of songs that they love, and they'll sing along to it every time. And there is an organization that we do a lot of special things for that everybody here should be aware of. It's called Swan Songs. And if you don't know what that is, you can yell at me, or you can just Google Swan Songs, and it'll come right up. And it's the organization sends musicians like me to people in their last days or last weeks or even last months that love music and would like to have a little private thing with them and the family. And it's totally free. It's all funded by fundraisers through Swan Songs. So it doesn't cost anything to the people we go play for. And they can request a specific musician or musicians, or they can just request, look, I just want somebody to come play country music. And then we have all these people in Swan Songs, all these musicians that are signed up, and then they go through and they know who to send for what. Anyway, we'll do one more for you that they all like. Again, it's called Swan Songs. You should know about that. Google that if you don't. It's a great organization founded by an old friend of mine who's been an Austin musician for years. All right, I do this one, and they know just what to do. Another bride, another Jew, another sunny honeymoon. Another reason, another season. See there, I told you. She said, a lot of shoes, a lot of rice. The groom is nervous, he answers twice. It's really killing that he's so willing. That's just the way it goes. Now he doesn't make much money, and only 5,000 per. Some judge who thinks he's funny says you pay 6 to her. He says, now judge, what if I fail? He says, now bud, it's right in jail. You better keep her. I think it's cheaper than making whoopee. I tell them, I say, all the girls know this lesson. The boys learn it the hard way. Anyway, that's what we do. I spend an hour with them. We have a good time. And thank you all for coming today. All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.
How about another round of applause for Danny Britt? Thank you, Danny. Appreciate having you here. If you were with us a couple of years ago, we had a special guest speaker that you might have heard of. Her name is Judy Maggio. And she had a really special message that we thought we would play again. She spent 4 decades as a journalist and broadcaster here in Austin. For those of you who are around this area, you know her well. She was our Capital City Village keynote speaker in 2020. And here was that important message once again.
I couldn't possibly let Capital City Village's 10th birthday go by without singing its praises. This is one of my favorite local nonprofits, and I think the concept and the mission should be replicated all over the country. I love the motto, stay where you live and live well where you stay. And let's not forget the Austin-centric idea of keeping aging weird. Most of us have a deep desire to age in place, keep growing, keep socializing, and keep learning. The Capital City Virtual Village allows folks in the Austin area to do just that, thanks to great leadership and amazing members and volunteers. Congratulations on a decade of dedication and drive to engage and enhance the lives of local seniors.
Appreciate you, Judy. Thank you for sharing that with us again. One of the highlights of this event every year is that we have the opportunity to hear from current CCV members and volunteers, and the stories that they tell you is really what CCV is all about and why it is important, its programs and services. And so the following video will feature Capital City Village member and volunteer Michelle Ainsworth, if you would turn your attention to the screen.
I couldn't have gotten through these last few years without the support and the helping hands from Capital City Village. What means more to me than anything is the friendship and support that I have received. Dan had been diagnosed in 2018 with cancer, which was cured, but was still having declining health. We agreed it would be great to join Capital City Village. And so I sent a long email to Tommy Ferguson, who was the manager of Capital City Village at that time. And I told her about Dan's health problems, and I said, I'm really losing it. I feel like I need a secretary. I know I need help. Tommy Ferguson and Mart Hoffman came to the house, and so Dan and I sat down with them, and they gave us ideas about how to manage Dan's falling problem, such as buying a special watch to monitor the falls. And Tommy continued to help with giving me resources, returning library books, and just things like that that we needed. Dan was taken by Capital City Village volunteers to numerous medical appointments, and he really enjoyed talking with the volunteers who drove him. And then I also needed transportation because in 2021, Dan and I both, in 3 days apart, had terrible falls. Capital City Village couldn't have been more helpful as Dan and I got through that terrible year, 2021. After Dan died in May this year, Capital City Village helped me in many ways because there was so much to take care of. And of course, I wasn't in my best frame of mind at that point. Rick and Carl Beck installed an electronic lock on the front door and a Ring doorbell so that I could answer the doorbell when I was in bed. Here's an excerpt from the long email that I wrote to Sue, Tommy, and Rick. What I observed, the staff at St. David's couldn't. Dan's dementia was worse after the episode. He was rather confused, such as asking, "Where are we?" And his developing problem with finding the words he wanted seemed much worse. I hope to join in some Capital City Village activities soon. I received heartening responses from all of them. Well, I just can't tell you how much it meant to have people I considered friends holding my hand through some of that time. I wish I could have done more to contribute. I've been doing more taking than giving so far, but I have recently begun driving people from South Austin to Capital City events. And I also made a presentation at one point when we were doing Zoom during the COVID pandemic on the French World War II diary that I had translated. My advice to others who want to age in place in Austin is to join Capital City Village. It's been a lifesaver.
Thank you, Michelle. That's why we're here. Our next video features member Marie Robinson and her daughter Callie Rourke discussing their experiences with Capital City Village.
When you get older, you have a choice when you wake up in the morning. Am I going to have a good day or a bad day? And I just would rather have a fun day. But I think the main thing that I get back to anybody is humor. I think that I can make most anyone laugh, and we do a lot.
When Mom decided to age in place, we realized that there would be some lacks that she would have. She didn't really know that many people in Austin. She moved down here from Chicago about 20 years ago. So when I heard about CCV and how it was making a virtual retirement community, I thought, this is perfect for Mom. This is perfect. It will give her that outlet that we really can't do any other way.
I like the chance to get out and meet people and do things. And we went to a concert, we've gone to movies, we've gone out for meals and things. And these were things I would not be able to do. There are Capital City Village people that live near me. And if I called them and said, I need some help, I know that they would help me. The volunteer, I think that has actually helped me the most. Don't get me wrong, they all really help me, but is Anelle Harrison, because she's a techie, and she goes with me, and she writes down anything that I need to know. I got new hearing aids, and they're like in the ear, and I was having trouble with them, and so she went with me, and the girl tried to explain to me about the charger and all that, and we weren't getting anywhere. So Anelle just told me in normal language exactly what it was, and I got it. And so then I was okay. But without her, I would probably still be there.
She's absolutely loved meeting these people who are fellow members, and also the staff and the people who have volunteered to make her aging at home a possibility. It's been just life-changing for her.
One of the things that I really enjoy the most about Capital City Village is we go to La Mancha for Mexican food and a cocktail, and it's just a really good time. Young people are in the now, and a lot of us older people are got one foot in the before and in the now. And so things that we've taken for granted all our lives all of a sudden are hard to do. And you can talk about it to these people because they have the same problems. So it's nice to be able to talk about something that without everyone thinking that you're moaning and groaning. And I do tell everyone that is anywhere near my age, whatever you do, join Capital City Village, because it's such a great thing. I mean, it's such a big help.
And we thank Michelle and Marie and Callie for sharing their experiences. Capital City Village truly is and has a unique place in allowing all older adults to have the quality of life that we all desire as we age. The vision of Capital City Village is to create a community of older adults interacting in a virtual village, allowing them to age in place with dignity and health while fostering fun and social interaction. And your generosity in supporting this vision really makes it all happen. It makes a tremendous positive impact on our senior community, as you heard in the videos, and is greatly appreciated. And so now comes to the generosity portion of our program. And for that, I'm going to invite my friend, Paddles Up auctioneer extraordinaire for the umpteenth year, Tawana Kenny, TK, as we call her. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, TK, as she likes to be called, has a most extraordinary background. Prior to moving to Austin, Texas, TK served 8 years as an interrogator in the Army. When she moved to Austin, she wanted to be a chef, but then decided she really liked being an auctioneer. Now that is an array of careers there. And she's a great auctioneer, as I'm sure she was interrogator. I don't want to find out about that. But we are thrilled to have her back. So TK, take it away.
Thank you, Jim. I have to say, and I know Jim said it, this really is my favorite event of the year, and this is all I do. But I get to get up and come in this room and see the joy, the humor, the wit, the charm. You all are so alive. And I don't know how often you get the chance to interact and see other people, but you all are living so well and so fully. And I thank you for allowing us to come in just one day a year. You can invite me more than that, though, I promise. But thank you for allowing us to see that. So this year's a little bit different than the previous years that I've come here because I have a little bit more understanding of what aging means and why it's so important to understand what Capital City Village does. Why it's important that you age where you are, with dignity, with community, with friends. My son suffered a brain injury in 2021, and we went through rehab facilities, we went through skilled nursing facilities, and I really came to understand when they say they are not good places. The difference maker is your family, if you're fortunate enough to have them nearby, who can come in every single day and care for you. Thankfully, our time in skilled nursing was very short, as he passed in April of this year. But we were able to be a part of that journey, and we had community, we had friends, and those short few months made the difference of us giving our time. Capital City Village is important because in those places, you don't have the community. You don't have the comfort of your friends and your family because it doesn't always feel like home. And it's not enough that we say that they're not good places, but we have to do the work to make them better places. But until that happens, there's Capital City Village that allows you to have powerful places that allow you the comfort of your home, the warmth of a friendship, the ability to cook an incredible dinner and you know where your things are, to thrive with pride and dignity. And every single one of you are a village to one another, and I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for that. Now, in this moment, it's time for us to raise money so we can continue to grow the village, to thrive, to be a part of the magic. You've seen it. Michelle shared her story, and do you know she trekked up here from South Austin, and I don't even do that. So Michelle, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming all the way across the river because I need an overnight bag for that. I appreciate you. Thank you all for being here, and I want you all to make sure that we can continue to grow the village. For those of our friends joining us from at home that couldn't be here with us in person, thank you so much for joining us. And now we need your support with your dollars. And so I'm going to ask you all to give at different levels, share a little bit about Capital City Village as we go through the process, and hope that you'll put your paddle up for all of the magic of all things CCV. So my first ask is at $1,000. $1,000, let's think about a person who may not know what Capital City Village does, or even that it exists. The person who's at a point in their life where they just need community because their husband may be ill and they don't know where to turn. They don't want to feel like they're whining, but they just need a friend who understands. They can come over and enjoy the afternoon with them, change a light bulb when they need it. Help put up a Christmas tree. If you're able to give a gift of $1,000, if you'll take your paddle and put it in the air high and proud, we'd love to celebrate you and continue to grow our village. We have 6-8. Thank you, 6-8. We have 5-9. Thank you, 5-9. 8-7. Thank you, 8-7. Anyone else out there? 8-2. Thank you, 8-2.
I saw a couple of people looking for paddles too. They should be right in the middle of your table.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, they are. Anyone else out there? Big round of applause to all of our donors at $1,000. Let's continue to grow the village. We have a few homes in the village now. And I'm going to ask now at $500 because let's talk about the fun part of Capital City Village. Did you see all of the friends at the Mexican restaurant having lunch? Can you imagine walking in there and being like, well, what are they doing in there? Why wasn't I invited? Because you know it was a good time. The community, the fellowship, someone who understands just being able to build relation and laugh about something and being able to be who you are and celebrate it for that. We all deserve that and we all want that. So if you'll put your paddles in the air high and proud at $500 and let's build friendship. And we're going to start with 4-3. Thank you, 4-3. 4-8, thank you, 4-8. 6-6, thank you, 6-6. 6-9, thank you, 6-9. 7-0, thank you, 7-0. 5-7, thank you, 5-7. 9-3, thank you, 9-3. 6-3, thank you, 6-3. 7-1, thank you, 7-1. And 9-6, thank you, 9-6. Big round of applause for all of our donors at $500. And if you're at home and you want to give a gift, will you all do me a favor and just turn to the camera and wave at our friends at home real quick? They're back there watching us. Hey, friends. If you want to give gifts, you too can go in and just hit a donate button and make your gift as well. We want the village to be built no matter where you are. So that means tell your friends who aren't here too, join in. Our next level is $250. And at $250, we're doing the things that makes life worth living. Decorating the houses for one another. Coming over and making new memories for the holidays. Because when your family's far away and you still have a village, the holidays are just as special. You're still able to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon when you want it most. Light your candles for Hanukkah. Or whatever it is that you want to do most. Because your friends say that you too deserve to be celebrated and to celebrate those special moments. If you can help us do that and put your paddle in the air at $250, we're going to start with you, 4-5, thank you, 4-5, 3-9, thank you, 3-9, 3-8, thank you, 3-8, 4-1, thank you, 4-1, 2-3, thank you, 2-3, 9-1, thank you, 9-1, 1, thank you, 1. 4-6, thank you, 4-6. And 9-6, thank you, 9-6. Let's give a big round of applause. And 6-3, thank you, 6-3. And 1-8, thank you, 1-8. Anyone else out there at $250? We're almost done. The next level is $100. And at this level, I want to say, when is the last time you went on an Easter egg hunt? When is the last time you got out there and found something that made your heart swell because you knew there was a goodie inside of an egg? And those are the types of things that you get to experience with the Capital City Village. I want to come to the Easter egg hunt. Word to somebody. Okay? Invite me. And if there's not one, I'm in. I'll plan it. Easter egg hunts. Christmas parties. Hot chocolate on a cold day. Chicken noodle soup when you need it the most. When you're just not feeling your 100% best, a friend who's going to show up at your door to give you a big hug. At $100, let's do that too. And we're going to start right here with you, 3-3. Thank you, 3-3. Will you turn that around for me, friend? Thank you, 2-5. Thank you, 2-5. 6-7. Thank you, 6-7. 9-2. Thank you, 9-2. 9-8. Thank you, 9-8. 6-2. Thank you, 6-2. 9. Thank you, 9. 1-9. Thank you, 1-9. 8-6. Thank you, 8-6. 7-9. Thank you, 7-9. 2-1. Thank you, 2-1. 7-7. Thank you, 7-7. 3-5. Thank you, 3-5. 7-6. 7-6. Thank you, 2-6. Thank you, 2-6, 4-5, thank you, 4-5, 3-1, thank you, 3-1, and 9-4, thank you, 9-4. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our donors at $100. And my last and final ask is at $50. And this is because I truly believe that there should never be a person who does not get to experience the magic of all things Capital City Village because they do not have the financial means to do so. No matter what your financial status looks like, if you have the means to age well where you are, you should be able to do that and enjoy this incredible group of community. At $50, if you have not given, if you were invited here, I'd ask you to join us and invite you to make your first investment into CCV at $50 and raise your paddle at this level so everyone can experience it. Anyone out there at $50? I see you over there, friend. Will you turn that around for me? There we go. We have 7.5. Thank you, 7.5. Anyone else out there at $50? Thank you so much for allowing me to ask. Thank you to our donor over there, and thank you all for your generous gifts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for making the time to be here. And I hope that you share more about CCV with your friends, grow the village, and make this a new place that you invest to, because it's a very special place. My name's TK, and I'm turning it back over to my friend Jim.
Okay. Okay, thank you. TK, thank you. And equally, more importantly, maybe, all of you who donated so generously in the audience, and you see the sign here, please check out if you made a donation with your paddle at the raffle ticket table on your way out. Thank you again all very, very much. Those donations allow people to join Capital City Village, even those with not much income. We supplement that income. I say we, as everybody else does all the work, but that is supplemented thanks to your donations here today to make sure if they want to be part of this organization, they are able to, and it is because of you. So thank you once again. And those of you watching online at home, thank you as well. We hope you made some online donations there. We have a very special duo here today as our guest speakers. It's my pleasure to introduce them. Kim and Mike Barnes. Kim and Mike, you'll know them as soon as you see them. You probably already know the name, but they have been on television for more than 30 years, most of that here in Austin, Texas. Kim, a news anchor and reporter. Mike, a sportscaster, both award-winning newscasters and sportscasters. Empty nesters now with parents in their 80s. These award-winning journalists are now using their professional and personal experiences to support adult children who are caring for their aging parents. Now, as of a few years ago, I would not have been allowed to share a stage with someone from KView. But since we're both semi-retired now, come on up here, my friends.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Jim. The power of connection. It's a great little phrase, isn't it? But it's true. Connections can be so powerful. And the best thing about today's modern era with all the technology is there's so many ways to connect. I want to connect with you on Facebook. I want to connect with you on Instagram. Oh, you on LinkedIn. I'm not on TikTok, but after that video, you and me on TikTok, we can connect. There are just so many ways, and that's what Parenting Aging Parents, the community that we started 2.5 years ago, that's another way to connect. And it's just a way to have that power of connection and prove it's really true.
It can create for life-changing experiences as well. In our community, so many people have been brought together to have connections with people who are in the same stage of life as they are in. And one of my very favorite stories is we had a woman who posted a question and said, hey, my mom is about to turn 90. She loves the beach, but she has advanced Alzheimer's and she's not really mobile anymore. Does anybody have some suggestions or advice on how we could make a trip to the beach special? Somebody happened to see that question and responded, hey, did you know that there is a beach wheelchair at Port Aransas that you can reserve for free? Didn't hear anything else about it right then, but a couple of weeks later, we see this picture posted of her mom. It gives me chills every time I tell this story, with pure elation. And even though by the time they got back to Sun City, she actually didn't remember that she had been at the beach, and she ended up passing away a few months later. But because of the power of connections, one person asked a question, one person had an answer, and it created a memory that will be etched in this family's brains forever.
You see how strong the power of connection can be? And we're so lucky today because of all those ways I mentioned earlier that we can connect. Back in the old days, let's see, you could call somebody, you could write somebody a letter, or you can meet them face to face. Now it's like there are thousands of ways, and these ways can change people's lives.
We started worrying about my mom a couple of years ago, my brother and I, because she had lost her husband, and she was in her house by herself and not able to drive anymore. So she had really become very disconnected, and we didn't know about Capital City Village. I don't know if there's a chapter in Houston, but we didn't know about that. So we really started worrying about, okay, what can we do for her that would give her some community? She had always loved going to play bridge and going to church and doing all of the activities that she had participated in and was fine when she was able to drive. But now that she wasn't driving anymore, she was really very disconnected. And so my brother and I brought up the idea, hey Mom, what would you think about moving into independent living? She did not like that idea, not in the least, and said, no chance, no thanks. And we thought, okay, well, and we were really worried because she was not getting that interaction. Interestingly, though, her connection with her brother, my uncle, is different. And when he came in town from Chicago, visited her in Houston and said, what would you think about just going to maybe look at a few places? She was more open to the idea. And they went, and then within a couple of days, she's calling me saying, hey, are you coming to town so I can show you where I'm moving? And I said, you're moving, are you? Okay, that's a whole nother story. She signed the contract without actually even mentioning it to my brother and I, but whatever. So anyway, but she moved. And now she is doing things. Often when I'm calling her and checking in on her, she's saying, oh, well, hold on. I can't talk right now. I'll have to call you back because I'm playing canasta. Or I'm going to water aerobics, or I'm playing cards. And for us, it has been so amazing for us to see that she's been able to make these connections. One, because she's back in the neighborhood and in the area where we grew up. So there's people that she's known for 40 years that she's now reconnected with, as well as making some new connections with new friends. And for me, as the child, that has made such a world of difference because I can just feel like she's in a great place and she's making connections, and it really has enhanced her life.
It really has. And for some people, it enhances their lives. For my dad, it has definitely fueled his life, I guess you could say. Back about 8 years or so ago, my sister and I talked to my dad about the fact that because of my mom, they needed to move into independent living. He was very, I won't say receptive, but he was very agreeable to it, even though he pictured a nursing home like my grandfather used to live in. Then he moves in, he's on the phone with me every day saying, son, it's the best move I ever made. This is great. And now he works the room in the place. He's the mayor. We call him the mayor. I go up to visit him, and they have a cafeteria, dining room sort of like this. He's walking around, talking to everybody, needling somebody about this, giving somebody stock tips over there, asking about their investments over here. He loves it, and it gives him fuel. It really does. You just see the more bounce in his step. He had to get a pacemaker a couple of years ago, and he still has a lot of bounce in the step because he loves the connections he makes, and it's huge for him.
And really, in his life right now, Mike's dad, it is crucial, really. It is so important because after more than 60 years of marriage, he and Mike's mom are living separately because Mike's mom is now in memory care.
Yeah, my mom has Alzheimer's, and as we all know, Alzheimer's is not an overnight disease. She started showing signs 10 plus years ago, but as it got worse and worse and worse, first they moved to independent living to trying to make things a little bit easier for her, but then we moved her into memory care 2.5 years ago, and that was the impetus for us to start parenting aging parents.
And now she has made so many great connections where she is, and it's really sort of finding those connections where you are. And when we created Parenting Aging Parents, it was after the day of the move. Mike posted something on social media about just what a tough day that was. I stayed with his dad. He and his sister went and dropped her off, for lack of a better word, and it was just such a surreal sort of experience. And what I noticed when he posted this post on Facebook was there were so many people that responded, of course with empathy, as you would expect. But what I really noticed were the numbers of people who said, I'm right there with you. I have done that in my past, or I see it coming in my future. And not just Alzheimer's, but just as we want to be able to care and assist and really enhance our parents' lives, we knew that it impacts so many people our age, and yet nobody talks about it. It's really not a subject that you often, even with some of my close friends who I'm very connected to, it wasn't something that I found out except by accident that one friend's mom had had brain surgery and another friend's mom was diagnosed with Parkinson's, because it's just not something you call up and say like, oh, hey, how's it going? And oh, by the way, it's just not something we talk about. And we really felt called to, can we create a community so that people can find those connections, because we really feel strongly about the fact that if we do talk about this stuff, even though it can be hard, we can all really help each other.
Yeah. I've always had a great connection with my mom, and we've always been very close, and that connection has changed because of her Alzheimer's, but the connection is still there. And the connection we've had, because of that connection, I owe a lot to her. And it's an old story that I'd like to share with you. We got to go back in time. 1990. It was December of 1990, and I'd been working here at the TV station for exactly a year. 3 weeks left in the calendar year. I had a week's vacation left to burn. I didn't make much money, didn't have anything to do, couldn't really travel anywhere. What am I going to do? I decided to go home, let mom and dad feed me for a week. Pretty smart, right? So I go home, and while I'm home during that time, my mom says to me, in a nice motherly way, I can't say it well enough for you to understand. She said it in a nice motherly way, but she says, why are you 23 years old, but you haven't brought that special someone home yet?
Mike and I had known each other at that time for about 3 years already, but we had had 7 dates over that 3-year period. We had met in a journalism class at UT, but you can imagine that 7 dates over 3 years, do the math, wasn't really going anywhere fast.
Ouch. Now, I wasn't one to brag about my romantic failures with anyone, but especially my mom. But she caught me at a weak moment that day. I don't know if it was because I was on vacation, because it was near the Christmas holiday, because she was feeding me well, which she was. But I said, Mom, I have found the girl. I just can't connect with her. She lives and works up in Waco, and I am terrible at this dating game. I said, I feel like if I could just get her here at home where I grew up on my turf, it'd be a lot easier. I could get it done, but it's just not that easy.
And I don't know, you might remember, but about a week after that visit, Mike was in a terrible car accident, just actually a couple blocks away from here, and was sent to the hospital.
Yeah, I was driving a Jeep at the time, wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Long story there. I got thrown out of my Jeep, landed on my head, had serious head injuries, and I was taken to ICU at Brackenridge Hospital, and I was in basically a coma for 5 days.
Mike's parents got that call that no parent ever wants to get, and they made their way down to Austin from Dallas as quickly as they could, really not having any idea if he would survive.
And hopefully none of you have ever had to go through something like that, but imagine if you have kids, if your child was in that type of condition, how traumatic it would be. But one of the first things that my mom did when she got to Austin was she found somebody from the TV station and said, hey, do you know anything about a girl in Waco that Mike kind of likes? She might need to know about this.
Fortunately, the TV business is pretty small, and I actually had already heard from somebody, because he was actually supposed to have been at my station that day in Waco, coming to cover a playoff game, and hadn't made it. So I had gotten word about it, and I had reached out to somebody at the TV station. His boss at the time had actually been my mentor, so it was a very close-knit situation where I was able to call her, and she quickly put me in touch with Mike's mom, who, remember, we'd only had a few dates and spread out over a long time. I had never met her before. I had never talked to her before, but I just felt really compelled that I should reach out to her, and I talked to her every day for several days. On Christmas Day, his parents were told, we're not sure if he's going to get any better. We don't know. And I felt compelled, because I had gone home to Houston for Christmas and was going to be going to Dallas the day after Christmas for a wedding. And because Mike and I had had a connection as far as a friendship, or so I thought, that I really just felt compelled that I needed to go and visit him in the hospital. And because my geography is not that great, I thought it wouldn't be that big of a deal just to swing by Austin from Houston on my way to Dallas. So I came to Austin, and I saw him in the hospital.
Yeah, so Kim meets my mom in the ICU lobby. My mom takes her back to my bedside in ICU. Kim touches my arm and says my name. At that moment, I opened my eyes, I grabbed her hand, and I started talking. It was a miracle.
It was a little bit embarrassing for me, I have to tell you, because all of a sudden he grabs my hand and he's holding it up by his face and kind of acting sort of lovey-dovey. And, you know, we were friends. This was like hey, thanks for the date. Okay, bye-bye. That's all. That had been the extent of our relationship to that point. So it was a little bit embarrassing, but I didn't necessarily realize that it was such an amazing sort of recovery from him. But they let me stay in ICU past visiting hours and let me speak with him for a little bit longer. And then I decided to come back and see him a couple of days later when he had been moved out of ICU, was in a room, and then that next week when he was out of the hospital and at his apartment.
Yeah, I was staying in my apartment. My mom stayed in Austin, staying with me as I was slowly recovering. And Kim comes down. Remember, I've had 7 dates with her in 3 years. Now I have 4 in 2 days. Lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner. And my mom was the third wheel on all 4 dates. I didn't care. Number one, because I'm loopy still because of having head injuries. But number two, it's because I have a crush on this girl. But I don't even notice that my mom's there as the third wheel. I don't care about that. And I don't really pay attention to the fact that my mom says, Kim, I haven't been home to Duncanville in almost a month because of staying with Mike. I need to go home next week and take Mike up there. Why don't you come up to Duncanville and stay a couple of days with us on your days off? I know we'd have a good time and Mike would love it.
I don't know about you, or I've never asked any girls out for my son, so it was a little bit weird to be able to, be getting basically a date by his mom. But I was like, all right, okay, sure. So I head up to Dallas and Duncanville, and there I show up.
Sure enough, that Monday morning, the doorbell rings, 927 Green Rock is where we lived, and there's Kim. And I proved my mom that I was right because we spent 2 days together, Kim and me and my family, my mom and my dad, lunches, dinners, we have a great time. And 5 months later, I propose, and we've been married for 31 years because of that, because of my mom and the power of connection. And I owe so much to my mom because of that. And I think about that every time I go to memory care to visit her up in the Dallas area now, because truthfully, she doesn't recognize me when I go in. I open up every visit with, hi Mom, it's me, Mike, your son. Sometimes she looks at me and says, I don't recognize you. One time this summer I went up and we actually talked for a few minutes and then she leaned in real nice and said, now, tell me, how do we know each other? Which I admit is funny, but I'm the only son she's ever had. She's the only mom I've ever had. It can get emotional. But when you have that connection, it still works because every time I visit her, even though she doesn't remember anything about my lifetime, anything about growing up, anything about me, we still have a good time. I'm still able to make her smile. I'm able to make her laugh. We're able to visit. And even though she's not going to remember the next day that I was even there, we have a good time then. And I always have to concentrate on the fact that I can't worry about what's missing. I have to love what's still there.
And we all hopefully have those connections. That shows the importance of having strong connections in our lives. Connections with our parents, connections with our children, connections with our neighbors or former coworkers or current coworkers. Connections through organizations like Capital City Village, where you can have those friendships and really build those strong bonds. It's what we have found to be so impactful about our parenting, aging parents community and the connections that are made. And so we want to make sure we look for those opportunities in our lives to find those connections, build those connections, use those connections, because we know firsthand how much it can impact and enhance our lives as well as the lives of those who we love. And we like to always say that we are all in this together.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mike and Kim, and for what you have done with your post-broadcasting career using the talents that you developed and that evolved with you over the years. It's what a perfect mesh with Capital City Village and our program today. Couldn't have been a better coordination. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. As Kim and Mike care for their parents, they, as you've heard, have discovered the importance of having essential information about their parents organized and easily accessible. That's why they created the Caregiver's Key, a guide to gathering essential information. It is a workbook with prompts of what information is helpful to know about parents and or spouses, and keeps it all in one place for you. They have copies available for sale in the lobby. All right? So keep that in mind as you work your way out. I think there's some samples on the table there, that one on every table, that somebody may be taking home. Gratis. No, that's coming up. Right now, speaking of, well, it's not gratis. You did pay a little to get in on this, but it's time for the raffle winner announcements. So let's do that. Kathy Trefiro is going to do the dirty work for me, right? No? All right, come on up. Let's give some prizes away. This is the fun part. This is the private in-home wine tasting package, okay? Got it? And I think it's Rick Cloud. I don't know, Rick. The D was cut off of the end of this, so that may disqualify you. Anybody disqualified, I get to take home. All right, Rick, let's keep that with his. I'm sure he won't forget what he won. The private wine collection valued at $200. Donated by CCV members, and this is my winner here. Is it Kathy Spicer? Oh, these are cool. The 6 top restaurant gift cards. I'll let you do that. I'm in a couple of these, so I've got to play it cool. Clark Ross, you are going to be eating out. Clark, congratulations. Eating out often. We have another private wine collection valued at $275, donated by our CCV members, and I will let you draw. And these bottles of wine will be enjoyed by Susan Roberts. It's a lot of wine, Susan. You might want to invite some friends. Oh, the Kendra Scott jewelry. That's a great one. Very beautiful jewelry there. Why do I insist on drawing? That's your job. Okay, thank you. Vicky Ako? Akot? Akai? You know who you are. Congratulations. You got some great jewelry coming your way. Very beautiful. Thank you, Kendra Scott, for supporting CCV. And this is a really, really cool one. It is an evening of wine and dinner for 8. And somebody's going to be having a great party. They go by one name only, kind of like Madonna. Harrington. And this is the wellness package. Who couldn't use a wellness package but Leah Hokeb? Okay. Congratulations to you. I notice our penmanship trails off a little as we age. Guilty. Scenic Colorado oil painting, right back there. That is really, really nice. And yeah, I believe the first name is Mart. Mart H. That should have clicked with me. For some reason, it did not click with me. Congratulations. Okay, the Hill Country Getaway. Thank you all, by the way, for selling out the raffle tickets. That's awesome. And I'll let you draw. I usually do that at these things. I guess it's just force of habit now. All right. The Hill Country Getaway goes to Sue H. Congratulations, Sue. Is there another Sue H in here by any chance? Then we'll have to go to phone number. This is the Lake Travis Retreat. This is a really, really cool one. And Sylvia Holmes will be enjoying this one. All right, Sylvia. Okay. These are the two sort of grand prizes, I guess, right? The San Miguel trip, 7 days, Mexico. You either chose July or August of next year when you put your raffle tickets in. So the winner of the July week in San Miguel is Yolanda Rangel. And this is actually printed out, so she bought this in advance, I believe, or is watching online right now and jumping up and down in her living room. Congratulations, Yolanda. Okay, let's see who's going to go to San Miguel in August. No, I can't. Yeah, I'm in this one. Oops. I'm kind of glad it wasn't me. That would have been really awkward. Joan or Joanne Bernho. You have an awesome trip coming next summer. That's it, right? All right. Thank you again for purchasing raffle tickets. Congratulations to our raffle winners. We really appreciate your donation to CCV. And there were a lot of donations that came in for there. I'm going to have Mart back up here for our closing remarks today. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for having me back again this year. And I look forward to seeing you all, every one of you, again next year. Plus, bring some friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And I'm going to wrap this up, and it's just been a delightful luncheon, so thank you. And I especially want to thank Jim, Michelle, Marie, Kim, Mike, and TK for your participation and all your assistance in this. And Sally Van Sickle and Tina Fisher. Tina put together the drawings, and the quality is just wonderful, and the events committee. Now, I also want to bring up Danny Whip for just a minute. You know, part of what happens with CCB is serendipity. And one reason the serendipity happens is we're out there doing things, and we have, fortunately, energy to get out, and we're able to assist people. And all of the different things I've done with CCB in terms of helping, I've met so many interesting people, and they have gotten part of us. We've seen some people that hadn't been out of their house in months, then we've been able to get out and participate. One of them was our volunteer of the year about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's pretty exciting. But as 50 years ago, like Lindsay Conway, I was an intern at the School of Social Work, having a fairly miserable time, wondering if I would ever graduate. And so I had, and that's a true story, I had a placement at a nursing home. And it really was a pretty good placement, but it was nice, it was pleasant, but they would have the musical day, and there'd be this person there kind of maybe playing the piano, and everybody would be asleep. And it really wasn't uplifting to me at that time. So last week, Lindsay and I went to see a friend in Westminster. And in the medical part, these people are all pretty seriously ill. Room, and they said, oh, she's at music time. And everybody is there, and I thought, this is going to be awful. So we get there, and there's 30 or 40 people in wheelchairs kind of facing in here, and the person that is a CCV member was the brightest, the best hair. She was sitting up, but they were not too peppy. And I did know Danny Witt. We'd met years ago at this little function, smaller function, and I started watching Danny, and I thought, he is really, really good. And he proceeded to work the crowd. He asked them what songs they wanted. He got them to sing with him. The administrator was there. One of the administrator was singing. I was singing. It was a wonderful, Sue, that's pretty bad. Yes, I understand that. It was a wonderful event. And so I went to Sally Van Sickle, and I said, we have got to get Danny Witt for this occasion coming up. And Sally said, we've already got him. So I wanted to give Danny a special hand for all that he is doing. I would also like to thank, so many people did so much for this, Thomas Gage and Luann Lindley. Is Luann here? Yes. Is Jimmy Johnson here? Yes. The Austin Flower Company gave all the flowers on our tables in honor of Jimmy Johnson, one of our hardest working CCV members. Congratulations, Jimmy and Luann. Thank you so much. Now, each of you, the deal just gets, but wait, there's more. The deal gets better. Each of you have a chance to take home one of these beautiful flower arrangements. You will look at your chairs. Those with green tape on a chair at each table gets the flowers. Everybody look. Where have these tapes been placed? Help me out, Meredith. On the side. If you have a green tape, you win the flower arrangement. Right there. No, that's a different. And also, if you look on your chair and you have a yellow, or it may look whitish, you get to have, boy, y'all are noisy, you get to have Kim Barnes's book, and Mike and Kim's book that's on the table. So look and see if you have a white or yellow tape. Okay. I also want to thank our staff for all the hard work they've done for this occasion, Meredith Lowen, Joanna Mandel, and Lindsay Conway. We literally couldn't have done it without them. They've worked extremely hard to put this together. Saturday is Veterans Day. Could all of our veterans please stand up so we can honor them? Would the veterans stand up? Yeah. Okay. A big part of the group. Thank you so much for your service and for defending our country. Okay. Yes. I've been advised if you did paddles up, please go by the table. We can take checks, cash, well, money orders if you have them, whatever, and then also squares. Okay. One more thing. And if you would leave your name tags on the table, unless you want them. If you want one of these name tags, they're yours, but otherwise leave them and we will recycle. And so that's it. Thank you for being here and have a great afternoon.